So if you already have a payment processor, you can actually skip this step, whether it's for another product or another business. You can just use that one in the interim. Otherwise, it's going to take you about 15 minutes or so. There are many types of payment processors out there. I highly recommend Stripe. I'm not affiliated with Stripe, unfortunately, as of yet, but they are by far the most automation-friendly payment processor that I've found. They integrate with almost everything. They integrate with Stripe. Stripe integrates with PandaDoc, with Make, with Zapier, NA10, many other billing tools, and I routinely use them to automate dozens of hours of my own work a week. The way that Stripe and a lot of other payment processors work is they basically just charge a percentage of your total revenue. There are a couple of payment processors there that you'll just pay a flat fee to, but I like the way that Stripe works with the percentage simply because when you're not making a lot of money, it's very easy to justify. For me, they're more valuable enough. They're more than valuable enough to make their cost equal or less than whatever I'm gaining as a result of them. Especially if you're starting out, if you're not making more than 5 or 10K a month, the total amount of money that you're paying to Stripe at that point is like $100 to maybe $200 a month, which is totally reasonable. And yeah, they've just prevented me from needing to hire basically an entire billing department at my point. And their user experience is a big factor in my own CRO, conversion rate optimization. Like if I didn't have Stripe, I wouldn't be able to have like nice checkouts on all of my stuff. I wouldn't be able to have like great proposal experiences for my clients, even for my community, for instance, right? So yeah, big part of that. Now, I'm not going to give you a step-by-step Stripe sign-up guide just because it's beyond the realm of this program. It's a very specific software product that changes quite often, but they are probably one of the best onboarding experiences on planet Earth. So all you have to do is just go to Stripe and then go to, not sign in, create account over here. And then once you've done so, you can create a Stripe account super quickly. Make sure to pick the correct country. And if you're not a country that supports Stripe, just find a different payment processor and just copy and paste this in. Now, if you don't want to use Stripe, that's fine. I won't hold it against you. Just sign up to your own payment processor and move on. But I will be wondering why, because unless you're making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, the reduction in friction you receive for paying 3% to a platform is second to none. There are a couple of alternatives. You could try PayPal, although PayPal is notorious for locking some of your funds unless you have like very clear documentation history of the service that you're providing. And because we're sort of in like an IT service, it gets a little bit trickier. AuthorizeNet, Molly, there are a couple of other ones off the top of my head, but feel free to poke around. I'm not going to force you to use any particular payment processor. Another big thing that comes up here is, Nick, I don't actually have a business. Now, this is going to depend on where you are. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this as necessarily legal advice. But in many places around the world, you can actually sign up as an independent contractor or as a sole proprietor. And in order to do so, you just use your first and your last name as your business name. It really depends on the country that you are in, the specific regulations that you have to abide by. So take all that with a grain of salt. But in my case, I could theoretically have just set this up with my first and last name if I wanted to, because I'm in Canada. And in Canada, you can set up a sole proprietorship. And if it makes less than, I think like, I don't know, $2,500 a month or something like that, you don't even have to do any sort of GST registration. That's our tax. Now, if you did want to set up a whole business with the government, I'm not going to create a guide on like registering businesses with various governments, just because, again, there are several hundred governments out there and all of them have very different processes. But if you just wanted a quick and easy way to do it with just the US government, which works for most people around the world, you can check out Stripe Atlas. It's a service that helps you incorporate a business in the United States and set up a Stripe account all in one go for about $500. This is much cheaper than most other options. And because it's from Stripe, and Stripe primarily works with like SaaS companies, tech companies, companies that make money, they have very like optimized business registration process where you get set up in Delaware or Wyoming or these states that have like preferable tax procedures and very well-defined laws that just make it a lot easier for you. Now, there's sort of a hack here, and the hack works as of the time of this video. I don't know if it's going to work forever, but there's a platform out there called joinsecret.com, which basically provides you a bunch of software deals. And they provide deals for Stripe. Like you can waive fees on $20,000 in payment processing, which is pretty awesome. But they also have a deal for Stripe Atlas, a premium deal that gets you $250 off the incorporation of the company. So that just means that you basically get half of it off. Secret costs money. I think the premium plan it usually goes on sale. I think right now it's $150 a year. Previously, just a couple days ago, I think it was like $79 or something. So you could just wait and watch for a sale if you wanted to. But that basically means you can get the incorporation for $250. And then depending on the time of year, sometimes Stripe runs deals with Mercury, which is their partner bank account. And if you want to set up like a US bank account with Mercury, then they'll give you a little bit of money back. So when I did this for myself, I actually ended up making about $500 or something like that, maybe $1,000 even, because I think they were running a promotion at the time that gave me about $1,000 after I set up my business bank account. So I signed up to Join Secret, I got a ton of credits, and then I signed up to Stripe Atlas with my special discount coupon code. They end up reimbursing you for the $250, so you have to spend it out of pocket first. But at the end of it, you end up with you literally end up in the green for starting a business, which is crazy. It's one of the reasons why I like the U.S. economy so much. They really reward small business owners, and these like third parties out there have set up just a very beneficial environment, I want to say, for most businesses. Take that as you will, but yeah, that's how you set up Stripe in a payment processor. Just head on over to Stripe.com. Or go to the specific onboarding experience of the provider that you're using. Just note that if you don't use Stripe, some of the steps that I've already talked about, like the proposal system, they're going to be a little bit harder because you're going to have to send a specific designated invoice. You're not just going to be able to do it all in one. Maybe there are other platforms out there that allow you to do that with other payment processors. I don't know, and it's not really worth my time to find out. So yeah, after you do this, you can move on to day 7. That is going to be the last day of the first week of the program.